What's going on, guys? How we doing? Welcome on in. We're gonna try to do a movie review today. Try to see how this goes. I typed the whole thing out, and then I posted it on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, uh, Discord, and sent it to my friends who were curious about my thoughts on this. But I decided to do a recording of it, uh, read off my thoughts, and see how this goes. So I finally watched Primitive War, and I didn't hate it. It wasn't as okay. First off, I didn't know what to expect. I can't say, oh, it wasn't bad or it wasn't good or like it didn't meet my. I didn't have any expectations because I didn't know what to expect. Uh, but I didn't hate it. The acting and the dialogue at the beginning was rough, and just for about 85% of the movie, the human characters, I didn't like them. The Vulture Squad, what the group's called, uh, the squad that's sent into the jungle to go on this recon mission. I hated them. I hated them, especially the leader. Um, they were just assholes for about 2/3 of the movie, um, and everyone who was at like base camp, who even were they? Um, there was this one guy who was kind of dressed up in kind of like a nice button-up shirt and kind of slacks. Didn't know who he was. He was just kind of there. Same thing with this other guy. He was just standing around. Seemed like he was trying to bark orders or say, "We need to do this. We need to do this." Okay, um, you need to tell me who you are. Had no idea. The only guy at base camp that we knew who they were was this guy named Jericho, and he was a prick. Like I hated him. And then like later on, when MacGuffin was revealed, he said, "Don't destroy that. We need it." And he just became one of those greedy. No, we need this power for ourselves. So Jericho could just whatever. Um, the only human character that I liked was Trisha Heffler's Sophia or Sophia, excuse me, Sophia. Um, she was great. She was a Russian paleontologist with the drug problem. After being forced to work with the movie's big bad human villain, who was kind of pathetic. Like he had a reputation during this the second act of the movie. Like his reputation was kind of revealed, and it's like, oh, this guy's a hard ass. What's going on here? And then you meet him, and it's like, really, that's the guy? Okay, but no, I like Sophia. I like Trisha. Well, I like Trisha as an actress in general. She was good in Lucifer. She was good in The Rookie. Um, so I was really curious to see her in this, and for her to like maintain that Russian accent the entire movie, she did pretty good. Um, cinematography was, it wasn't the worst. There was one bit in kind of like at the end of the first act, the start of the second act, that there was a cinema there's a camera choice. I can't do my words work for me on this. Um, where the head of the Vulture Squad is like they're all shooting at these Deinonychus who are attacking them. Not Velociraptors, Deinonychus. People are going to be watching this movie thinking, "Oh, those are Velociraptors." No, they're Deinonychus. So, but there was this one shot where the camera was like he's firing his assault rifle, right? He's got an M16. They all have M16s, and he's shooting his M16, but the camera's like right here, and so you see like all the flash of the gunfire, and it's just it was weird. And plus, there's just a lot of flashing lights there, so epileptic warning right there. Just letting you know when they go into a cave, brace yourself. But other than that, cinematography was good, sound was good. And all the dinosaurs sounded good. Uh, but there was one like when the Rexes were like kind of chomping at, the people. The sound of the, like, ah, the sound that wrapping paper rolls make, where you kind of bash them together. It literally kind of sounded like that, and it was jarring. It kind of took me out of, like, the moment. I was like, wait, that, okay, that's a sound decision. But no, the stars of the movie were the dinosaurs, and they were absolutely fantastic. I loved everything I saw. Um, it was really cool seeing a Margosaur get some screen time in a movie in general. It's in Jurassic World Evolutions 2 and 3, but to actually see it in a movie was really cool because a Margosaur is one of my favorite sauropods. Well, is it classified as a sauropod? It might be. I think it's a sauropod. Um, there was a colorful Suchomimus that was in like a little quick shot of them. There's this montage of the soldiers wandering through the jungle, and it was them encountering different species. There was Suchomimus, there was Triceratops, there was like a group of Corythosaur, Maiasaura, and Montosaurs. That was really cool. And then the colorful Suchomimus that was just carrying off a crocodile or an alligator. It looked really neat. You had Edmontosaur, not Edmontosaur, a Dreadnoughtus, which I admit I thought was an Apatosaur. You had Brachiosaur. You had Spinosaur, which had a much briefer attack on the boat than I was hoping for, but it was cool. Looked really good. Design was great. I'll tell you who had a great design though, Quetzalcoatlus, and it was really cool seeing them utilized more in this than they were in Dominion and Rebirth. Um, and I'll go ahead and say it. I don't care. Quetzalcoatlus looked better in Primitive War than they did in Jurassic World Rebirth. I did not like the Rebirth Quetzal design. Um, that whole Quetzal scene was rough. It was intense. It was another thing about this movie. It is violent. It is gory, but it is great. I will give it that. It's great. You had the Deinonychus. You had the Tyrannosaur family, which was really cute. Seeing the parents kind of nuzzle against each other every time they came into contact with each other from being separated halfway through the film. Like they're always just kind of nuzzling, and it was really cute. The baby Tyrannosaurs were cute, but then you had the big guy, not bigger than the T-Rex, but you had the Utah Raptors. They were freaking massive raptors, and they were basically the film's true protagonist, if you will. Um, I thought it was really good. Like all the dinosaurs look great, but and this is gonna sound crazy coming from me, so bear with me. There is a thing that Primitive War does better than Jurassic Park, like all the Jurassic movies. Seeing the humans just kind of walk along wherever they're going, just having casual conversations, talking to each other, and there's dinosaurs just casually grazing behind them or alongside them. Like there's a scene where the soldiers are walking through, trying to figure out what's going on, talking, and the Dreadnoughtus are walking just kind of around them or to the side of them, and it seems normal. Like it's nice seeing dinosaurs being treated as animals in a movie and not a show thing. Like everyone knows the Jurassic franchise is my favorite film franchise. But every time a new dinosaur shows up on screen, it's like this big spectacle. Which, cool. Sometimes you don't need that. Like, there was this one moment where, uh, along the riverbank, there was a herd of elephants and a herd of Triceratops just grazing together. And there was no hostility, there was no flair, there was no big dramatic musical moment. It was just animals interacting. And that's good. And it was done very, very well. You had Spinosaurs just laying on the riverbank, just chilling like a crocodile does. And it seemed normal. And it was good. But it's nice seeing dinosaurs being treated as animals and not monsters. So that was a nice touch. Um, and then you get to the third act of the movie, which was it was a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. That was you had both Rexes just going through a camp, slaughtering everybody, chewing on like the barrels of tanks. Just like a tank. That's not really. I don't think it was like the missile launcher. I think it was like an automatic, like machine gun type barrel. But still, T Rexes were just kind of nomming on them, and it was like, okay, that's cool. And then you get to the pack of at least there had to have been hundreds of Utah raptors. Where in the whole movie they're saying, "Oh no, there's 6 of these raptors. They're dangerous. We have to steer clear of them." Okay, cool. Final bit of the film, there's hundreds of them, and it's like, where did these come from? And that led to this just severely over the top, just kind of took me out of it a bit, where it's humans were running, shooting at the Utah Raptors behind them, and then they get to the helicopters, and it's a group of like, I don't know, 6 people standing around the helicopter, and the guy on the gun on the helicopter shooting, like I said, hundreds of Utah Raptors, and it was. Ugh. I'm like, okay, this is a bit much because one of them is dual wielding pistols, and she's not the soldier. So how is she getting all this ammo to hold off these raptors? And then there was a slow motion sequence that was it wasn't necessary. And like they slowed down the guy talking. We need to get out of here. Gets attacked by a raptor. Slow mo, and it's just what? um, but the story itself, like the plot of the movie, so it starts off. Green Berets vanish in a jungle, and so Vulture Squad has to go try to figure out what went wrong, where they went. And it was fun. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Let's go find these soldiers, and then you figure out what the main human villain's plotting, and it's like, okay, like that's like, it was fine, but there was one line. I'm not gonna say what it was because I don't want to spoil anything. Um, there was a line that was said about the main villain's plan, and I'm like, really? That's where we're going here? Okay. And but there was a part of his plan that I got Dino Crisis vibes from, and that element of this I liked. Not just because it was Dino Crisis, but it's like, okay, I can see that. That kind of works. That's cool. But the plot wasn't the worst part of the movie. That still goes to the human characters, at least for the first 2 acts of the film. Once the third act hits and they get to the location of like where like the MacGuffin of the movie is and really have to go to stop it, that's where they started to actually become, somewhat likable. Um, okay, hold on, that's not fair to say. I say that when they were on the boat with everything, that's when the head guy like of the squad started becoming more likable, and everyone else was like kind of there. Okay, but the human characters weren't the best part of the movie. But you don't watch a dinosaur movie for human characters. I mean, just saying. But it does help to have good human characters to carry the story that you care about. For 2/3 of this movie, I wanted everyone to just get eaten. And then it got to the third act, and I was like, I hope everyone survives. So, but overall, I didn't hate Primitive War. Some things I liked, some things I didn't. I definitely don't think Primitive War is better than Jurassic World Rebirth, and that's not just me being biased about Jurassic. I genuinely thought Jurassic World Rebirth was a better movie. Um, but this one had a lot better just dinosaur moments. Um, and plus, this one had a Margosaur, so I'm happy about that. But no, this wasn't like Rebirth is still 2025's top dinosaur movie, but Primitive War is still a great dinosaur movie. Which I'm always down for a new dinosaur movie. 65 wasn't that, but we're not talking about that. It did things better than the Jurassic franchise, and there was a lot of things that Jurassic did better. But we don't need to Oh well, Jurassic World's Jurassic's better than Primitive War. Primitive, like, no, they're all good dinosaur movies. Not one thing has to be like better than the other. You don't have to try to make a point to say, oh well, this is better than anything. Like, stop. Let us have both, and I'm happy to have both. So now that I've watched this movie, I'm more excited about the sequel. So curious to see where the sequel goes. But that being said, I liked it. Could have been better. The humans could have been better. The plot could have been a little bit better, but no, it was a fine movie. So, overall, 7 out of 10. So, trying to think what else is coming out this year. I think the only real dinosaur movie, well, the only dinosaur movie we're getting this year is the end of Oak Street, I think it's what it's called. Used to be Flowervale Street with Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway, coming out in August. Happy birthday to me. But I'm excited for that one. In the trailer that we got, it looked like it might have been an Allosaurus. So that's cool. But yeah, these were my thoughts on Primitive War. So hope you liked it. And please keep in mind, this is my opinion. Okay? If you liked this better than Jurassic World Rebirth, good on you. But don't come in here, being like, oh, you thought Jurassic World Rebirth was better than this? You're dumb. Get out of here. Everything's great. Everything's good. So, yeah. We'll see how this recording style of doing a movie review goes. So, until the next movie, huzzah.